Cost of Victory, Book 1 of the Unseen Scar series by C.R. Saxon. Chapter 18. The screen filled with Mother Artemis's commanding presence, elegance, and concern. Black eyes glistened with something between sorrow and rage. "I apologize for the wait, Queen Mother. Thank you for responding quickly." She nodded to the man, not entirely sure where his loyalties lie. Regardless of her youngest son's wishes, she couldn't do nothing. "How may I help you?" "Do you know what's happening at your school? No matter what those tattoos claimed, this man had some serious explaining to do." "Excuse me?" The tone of her voice told him he was being inexcusably neglectful. "When my sons returned home, the youngest was seriously wounded. He'd been beaten." "John, is he okay? What happened?" "No, my youngest." Mother eyed the man, warning him to rethink his opinion of her claim. "Ferdinand?" Daya's lips tightened. The shock from a moment before morphed into something entirely different. "What happened?" "I was hoping you'd tell me." Mother made herself comfortable, preparing for a nice, long talk. Oya sat on the pier waiting and considering everything John told her. The difference between herself and Ferdinand was unexpectedly stark. Amazing how much family impacts your life. Delicate fingers tugged at the chain around her neck, and those glowing orbs danced. Hard soles clicked on the wooden dock, stopping next to her. John looked down. She gave her signature Cheshire grin, stifling a giggle when he shivered. Next thing she knew, he was sitting beside her, slumped low. They enjoyed silence while last night's conversation ran through her head. It wasn't a long talk, but it told her just how little John understood about her friend, how little she understood. It wasn't until he posed a strange question about frozen treats that it clicked. This was something Ferdinand asked John back at the hospital, but he didn't get it. She doubted the growing giant ever would. The boat docked. An eternity passed before people shuffled off. Excited chattering about the gala filled the air. Ferdinand was the last straggler to appear, moving slowly and holding his right arm awkwardly. Wordlessly, Oya stormed the plank. A black eye and purple jaw stood starkly against his pale skin. Ferdinand averted his eyes as if he couldn't bear looking at them, or maybe he couldn't bear them looking at him. "What happened to you?" she demanded in Oundo. John slid to a stop beside her. Not knowing what she said, he ended up repeating the same thing, only more passionately and in common. A dishonest smile curled thin lips and blue crystals avoided making contact. "I fell." Taking his hand, she pushed back the sleeve. A hard brace wrapped down to his wrist. She felt up his arm and continued to his shoulder. "What's this?" What's she doing? The oddity of her actions distracted John. What's that? Every time they poked and prodded, Ferdinand winced, paling at the unwanted attention they were gathering. "Please, I'm fine. Leave that alone." "Ah, don't!" "I'll teach that mutt a lesson he won't forget." John had lousy aim, but Oya found every tender spot on her friend. Squatting down and jabbing his thigh must have taken things too far. "Don't touch me!" This grabbed the attention of the few who weren't already watching them. Ferdinand purpled and bolted away. "Wait!" John called after him. "I'm tired." Speeding up, Ferdinand limped toward the dormitories. What was that about? John wondered. Alien green eyes rolled at him. Oya's screen was still in his room from the last time they talked, and that's where she headed. At the dormitory's entrance, Oya winked at him and disappeared. However she got into places, taking the stairs wasn't it. A little welcome party had started in his suite. Tuel hovered above the table and made the announcement. With the last of the now 11th years back, stories of the gala could begin. Oya's spiky hair poked out from his bedroom door. "I can't wait, but I need to talk to someone first. If you'll excuse me." John rushed to his room where she laid on the floor, twirling her screen high above her head. "You're slow." "I'm sorry, I don't know how to disappear and reappear at will." Despite his irritation, John stopped himself. "I apologize." "Why? I'm the master of snark." She waved her hand before sitting up. "I have a question." "Yes?" John asked, slouching down beside her. "Where was his cousin?" "Zephyr? I didn't see him get off." John moved to his desk and searched the boat's passenger list. "Odd, he wasn't on board." "Really?" Her grin filled with satisfaction. "I wonder how the gala went for Ferdinand." "Huh? What a huge jump in topics. Did it translate correctly?" Oh, sorry. I look forward to talking to him tomorrow. I bet it was exhausting." "You aren't concerned about—" She interrupted him with a wink and a wave of her hand. "If you see a problem, then look for the source." "What do you know?" "It's up to you to find out." She gave him another wink before disappearing again. The moment Ferdinand fell asleep, Oya slid open the window. The hole in his chest festered magnificently. Those clouds covering his mind were solidified, and cracks had formed. What sleep Ferdinand got was fitful. It was only a matter of time before he woke up from whatever haunted his dreams. What alternative can I give you to nightmares? Dreams were Oya's playground, and this was a perfect opportunity. Wicked green eyes closed. What sort of dream does my friend deserve? A pleasant surprise awaited her when she searched his mind. His priorities were changing. What was once most important was now being replaced by truly important things. She grinned. Now to see what Evelyn's doing. Something chased him. Something which wasn't there anymore. Instead, a toothy grin under a ridiculously floppy hat beamed at him. Fisherman? Have you reconsidered, son? Reconsidered what? The fisherman pointed to his ear. You drowned yourself in angry music instead of letting me clean your wound. This is a dream. Once again, Ferdinand voiced his disbelief from the first time. Then what can it hurt? Ferdinand looked at the ground, except it wasn't ground. It looked like clouds from Evelyn's paintings, the ones she'd been so excited to show him. The atmosphere was completely different here. Where am I? If you're not ready now. I'm not hurt. Brushing a hand across his chest, Ferdinand grit his teeth. There's nothing wrong with me. You honestly believe that? When the skeleton looked down, the fisherman offered again. I'll clean the infection if you'll let me. And you'll keep bothering me if I say no. I'll keep offering. Why? You know what I am, what I did. That's exactly why. Shoulders slouching, Ferdinand shook his head. He couldn't keep dealing with this. If you leave me alone, then yes. The man's hand glowed inches from his chest. Slowly, ever so slowly, he felt, what is this? His very being lightened. For the first time, he could breathe in deep without restraint. A weight lifted from his heart. It wasn't until the pain and agony ebbed out of him that he realized it had been there the entire time. How is this possible? Someone's waiting for you. Huh? Ferdinand looked around. The sun was bright and warm, and colors abounded incoherently. Above him was the Pegasus Evelyn drew coming over a rainbow. And she was riding it. But she hadn't been in her picture. Enjoy your reunion. The fisherman smiled and walked out of existence. What's going on? He'd never had a dream like this. It was too bright and colorful, and happy. This dream radiated happiness. Big brother! Evelyn called down to him. How did you get here? I don't know. Do you? Morbid curiosity wondered what horror this would morph into. The flying horse landed, and she leapt off right into his arms. My fairy god dragon! Your what? He chuckled. She doesn't feel like lightning. Ferdinand pushed away the thought. Of course she wouldn't. This was a dream. My fairy god dragon! She said I was a good girl and earned a wish. Whatever I wanted. Isn't that great? It is. What did you wish for? I wished we could play whenever I wanted. She squeezed him tight. It worked! She said there were conditions, though. What conditions? The fairy god dragon said I could play with you as long as we were asleep at the same time. Really? And why's that? She said it's easier to travel this way, and it's more fun playing in dreams. She said I could make anything happen here if I tried hard enough. Ferdinand stood flabbergasted. Would I really dream a story like this? There she is! Evelyn half stood in his arms, pointing as high as she could. A giant scaly beast soared above them, wings twice as long as his body and wearing a ruffled skirt and a gaudy silver crown. I'm going mad. As far as madness went, it could be worse. I want to fly with you! Evelyn squirmed out of his arms and pulled him off the cloud. Hand in hand, they flew. Oya took her hand back and grinned. Sleep well, my friend. Slipping down to the floor as if meditating, she didn't move until sunlight hit her.